intercourse, because there's plant also that have sexual reproduction in them. Okay. So when you're
Okay.
talking about sexual reproduction, you say that it is a kind of reproduction which involves both the parents, male and female. It involves the formation and fusion of gametes. Okay, no intercourse. Okay,
Okay.
all
Yes.
right. Okay. Tell me, what is vegetative propagation?
Ma'am, vegetative propagation can is something like in a leaf, they will like many small plants, tiny plants can grow around it, can migrate, and if we put that into the soil, it can grow as plants, and they can grow much faster than the ones that are grown from the seeds, and even layering and cutting is done, and it is helpful in the agricultural purposes.
Okay. And the if we talk about vegetative propagation, so is it done only naturally, or is there any artificial mechanism to it also?
There is artificial mechanism.
Okay. Tell
It
me,
can be done
what are
by
they?
layering, grafting, I guess,
Layering, grafting, and
cutting.
cutting. Okay. All right. After that, okay. Tell me what happens in grafting or layering. Like, tell me all of this artificial methods of vegetative propagation.
Okay, so basically, what happens if we take like a stem of a plant, like from
Hmm.
its trunk, and then we put that into the soil, and
Hmm.
then from the same soil, new plants grows from that.
Hmm. Correct.
And then we can even take like a part of a plant where the vegetative propagation is done in the stem or in the root or in the leaves, and then we can put that into the soil, and then we can see the growing of plants into it.
Hmm. Okay.
And then which one is left?
Cutting.
Cutting. We can cut a plant of a we can cut a part of a plant, something like that. Wait, I'll just see.
See, when we talk about cutting, so we cut two different plants, right? And then we join them.
Yes. Ma'am, but like we can even like if there is two flowers growing in a plant, we can cut one of that flower and then plant in the other pot, and then
Hmm.
its roots can grow and it can grow into a big plant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about grafting?
Grafting, we take like the stem of a plant and then we don't
Hmm.
cut, we just put into the soil, and then it develops roots and then stems and then it grows by itself.
No, that was layering. Layering, you said it was correct. Then the first one, the cutting part, right? You're cutting either a stem part or a root part. You're planting it and then it grows. But when we talk about grafting, remember two different plants were cut. They were joined and wrapped with a wax paper.
Oh, yeah, yes, ma'am. So
Hmm.
like a male plant and a female plant are cut
No,
and
no,
they're
no, no male, female. In general, two plants are cut. Okay. And then they are joined together.
okay,
And
two
then both
plants.
of them grow.
Okay.
All right. Tell me something about fission. In general, fission.
Fission.
Hmm.
It is like a uniparental method. This doesn't involve the formation of gametes. There are two types of fission: binary fission and multiple fission. In
Okay,
the
correct.
binary fission, um,
Hmm. What happens in binary fission?
binary fission, clones are formed. They just look identical to the parents.
Oh, all of the offsprings of asexual reproduction, all of them are clones. I'm talking about what happens in binary fission. Okay, first tell me, in which organism does it happen?
The fusion, binary fusion.
Huh? In which organism does it take place?
It can take place in amoeba. Yeah, okay, now I get it. One single cell divides into two and it forms two daughter cells. That's called binary fission.
Huh, correct. And then multiple fission?
In multiple fission, not amoeba. Yeah, in multiple fission, plasmodium takes place. There are there are like infinite number of daughter cells formed.
And not daughter cells, but spores, right? Like the cells, they are formed inside a structure called as a cyst, isn't it? Now tell
Yes.
me, amongst binary fission and multiple fission, which one of them takes place in favorable condition? Favorable.
Multiple fission.
No, that is favorable. When the conditions are favorable, not unfavorable.
Okay. So either unfavorable multiple fission and favorable is binary fission.
Hmm. And what do you mean by unfavorable conditions? Like, what does that imply?
Like there is not proper water, wind, soil.
Correct. Also space and all. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. Okay, now tell me what is the difference between regeneration and fragmentation? How are they different from each other?
So in fragmentation, what happens is it breaks down and then like the small pieces they get matured and the like the fragments get matured and they form into individual organisms. And in regeneration, what happens is uh, there's several the broken pieces they form. Yeah, the broken pieces they undergo several divisions to form, and then yeah, they undergo a cell division, multiple cell division, and then they form an organism, an individual organism.
So, which one is a routine procedure and which one is a chance process?
Our routine procedure is regeneration.
Regeneration is a routine process.
Yes, because it
How?
forms because it performs in an organized sequence.
Then what about this thing, fragmentation?
It by mistakenly breaks down and then it forms into fragments and the fragments get matured. Everything is like in a chance.
No, dear, no. When we talk about fragmentation, here mostly multicellular organisms, when they mature, then their bodies they get broken into fragments, and then each of those fragments develop into new organism. But when we talk about regeneration, remember I also gave the example of this thing, the tail of lizard. It's like by chance if it's getting cut, a planaria, by chance if it is getting, or if you take it and you cut it into 5 pieces, then each of those 5 pieces will develop. But it's not a procedure that it has. Like it doesn't mean that it will break itself into 5 parts and then regenerate. No, regeneration is an ability. Fragmentation, it's like a process. Clear?
Mom, but fragmentation breaks into parts and then it grows, right, into individual.
Yeah. Yeah, it naturally breaks on its own. When it matures, it breaks. But regeneration is when any accident is breaking it.
Okay.
So, like I'm saying, remember this, regeneration is an ability. It has that power that it can. But fragmentation is a procedure. It is a process that once it will mature, it will break into fragments. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now tell me, um,
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
give me the example of those organisms that do regeneration and fragmentation.
Ma'am, fragmentation is done by Spirogyra, Spirogyra,
Correct.
and regeneration is done by lizards.
Planaria and Hydra. Lizard, so I just use the example.
Okay,
Planaria and Hydra. Okay.
okay.
Now tell me, like, even though we know, acha, tell me first of all, asexual and sexual, which one is better?
Asexual is better because it can be done like very rapidly, fastly.
No, dear. See, in terms of comparing them, sexual will be better. Why? Because the offsprings of asexually reproducing organism, they are exact copies. There's nothing new in them. But
Oh,
sexual reproduction, they have variation.
sense.
That is better. Okay. But even though asexual is not better, but still it has advantages.
Yes, a
Tell
lot.
me the advantages.
Okay, the advantages of asexual reproduction is it can be done very fastly as compared to the sexual reproduction. And the offspring that are formed are same identical to the parents. Um,
Hmm.
and uh, there is no variations taking place in the asexual reproduction,
Hmm.
and their process is very easily and simple. They don't have like a very complex method also, so it takes less time.
Correct. Okay. Okay, tell me the reproductive organ of plants.
Reproductive organ of plants. For the female, there it is the
No,
pistil or
see. Listen. Listen to
yes,
the question that is being asked. What did I ask? I asked reproductive organ. I did not say male. I did not say female. In general, which will be the reproductive organ?
in general for female it will be
No. In general, I'm not asking female, male. I'm just asking in general. Which structure or which diagram I showed you?
pollen grain.
Pollen grain is again male. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, tell me, uh, I was going to say the answer only. Flower. Flower is the reproductive organ.
The
Whether
hibiscus
you talk
flower.
about any flower, doesn't matter, hibiscus or sunflower, any flower is the reproductive organ of a plant. That is why
Okay,
we study sexual reproduction in flowering plants, because flowering plants have flowers. So flowers are the reproductive organs. Now in that we have the male and the female parts of it. Getting my
yes,
point? So
yes,
listen to what the question is being asked.
question.
Okay, don't be in a hurry, because I'm saying this because you will have your viva, right? In school.
No, no, we
For
don't have
practicals,
one.
you'll not have viva.
No, we
Then
just have
do you have?
record.
Okay. Anyway, so if in future also, if you get asked question like that, first you listen to what the question is being asked. Okay. So the reproductive organ in general is the flower. Now say, and tell me the female and the male parts.
Inside the flower.
Yes.
For the male, it is the stamen that includes the anther and the filament. And in case of female, there it is the pistil or the carpel that includes stigma, ovary, and style.
Very good. Okay, tell me the male and the female gametes of flowers.
In case of female, it is the gynoecium.
Gynoecium.
Gynoecium, yes. And
Hmm.
in case of male, it is the
Wait, I am asking the gametes. Gynoecium is not a gamete.
okay. Okay. In case of female plant, it is the ovum, and in case of
Hmm.
male, it is the pollen grain.
Correct. Okay. Where does the pollen grain get synthesized?
Okay, so it is a sticky surface called the stigma. It lands on the stigma and then it gets synthesized.
No.
Hmm?
Synthesis of pollen means formation of pollen. So where does
Okay.
it take place?
Anther.
Very good. Anther. Okay. When I talk about the position of a pistil in a flower, so at which position the pistil is present?
Pistil is not in a specific because it's like pistil includes the stigma, style, and ovary.
Hmm.
So it doesn't have a specific place, but it has parts.
No, dear, it is at the center portion.
Center.
Center of the flower has the pistil, and then surrounding it will be the stamen.
Okay, okay.
Okay, what is pollination?
Pollination. When the pollen grains get fused into the ovum, they do pollination. That's called
Mhm.
pollination. When the pollen grains get fused into the ovule, it is called pollination.
No, dear, that is fertilization.
Oh.
The transfer of pollen to the stigma is pollination.
Okay, the transfer of pollen grains into the sticky surface called stigma.
Hmm.
Okay.
And pollination is caused by what?
By pollen grains.
No, pollinators.
Yes, the bees and okay.
Hmm. What are
Pollinators.
the two types of pollinators?
Pollination is the two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination.
Pollinator, dear. What are the two types of pollinator?
Bees, butterflies, is it?
Bees and butterfly. Okay.
And
Like, what are the
like
two general types? First, tell me the general types.
biotic and abiotic.
Hmm.
The biotic includes the living organism like the mammals, reptiles, and the abiotic includes the wind, water,
Very good.
air. Yes.
Okay. Now tell me, what is the difference between self and cross pollination?
Self and cross pollination.
Hmm.
Um, in self pollination, they do not need pollinating agents.
Correct. What happens in it?
Self pollination, both stamen and pistil is present in the same flower. And cross pollination, the pistil is of different flower and the stamen is of different flower. Is it?
Hmm. So
And
when we
in
talk about cross pollination, so here the pollen comes from the same plant or different plant?
different plant.
Okay. Okay, tell me what are the two types of flowers depending, like, according to the sexuality?
Means, what does it mean?
What are the two types of flower depending upon the sexuality, meaning unisexual and bisexual? Tell me
Yes,
the difference.
bisexual, yes.
Tell me the difference in between them.
Unisexual means it is uniparental.
Huh? No, flower.
Okay, 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 okay. In unisexual means that it is the stamen and pistil is present in the same flower.
That is bisexual, dear.
Oh.
Bi means two. So one flower when it has the male part also as well as the
Oh,
female part also. And uni means one.
uniparental, one is present, female or the male.
Uniparental is different, dear. Uniparental is asexual reproduction. I am talking about unisexual type of flower. So unisexual type of flower or a plant is the one which like in one flower, only the male part will be there or the female part. Both of them will not be present together.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now tell me what is pollen tube?
Pollen tube is the pollen tube travels through the style to reach the ovule.
Hmm.
It pollen tube arises from the pollen grain.
Hmm.
It helps in the fertilization. It reaches the site of fertilization, which is the ovule, and then the fertilization takes place.
Very good. Okay. What is after the pollen fuses with the egg cell, what is the structure that is formed?
Okay, the ovary forms it matures and it forms a fruit.
No, first, when the pollen fuses with the egg, a zygote is formed.
Yeah, a zygote is formed, and then when it gets matured, it forms a fruit.
Hmm. So, which part of the plant becomes the fruit
Ovary,
and then seed?
ovule.
Very good. Okay. Now, what is seed germination?
Okay, so basically the seed is the future embryo, which is a seedling. It forms under favorable conditions. This process is called the germination.
Okay. So, what are the favorable conditions for the seed germination?
There have to be proper soil, sunlight, water.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now tell me. Okay, what happens to, okay, you told me that pistil and stamen are the male and the female reproductive parts of the flower. Apart from these two things, what other things are also there in the flower?
The sexual plant has sepals, petals, anther, filament, stigma, stigma, style, ovary, ovule.
Hmm. Okay, so what happens to the petals and sepals after the fertilization has been done?
They shrivel off, they fall off.
Very good, they fall off. Okay, what is the full form of STD?
Sexual transmitted diseases.
Sexually.
Sexually transmitted diseases. Yes.
Give some examples.
AIDS,
Correct.
warts,
Hmm?
warts, W-A-R-T.
What?
Warts,
Okay.
sorry.
Tell me. Okay, what do you mean by contraceptive?
Contraceptive method is like um, when there is an intercourse between female and male and they don't want to have a child, so they will do some contraceptive methods so that they can abort the child or so that the female does not get pregnant. There are four methods: barrier method, chemical method, IUP is something.
IUD,
IUD, yes.
intrauterine device.
Yes. The last one is And the last one is they tie the vas devers and even the fallopian tube
Hmm.
in their ends.
So like that, is that temporary or is that permanent method?
The last one now which I said is the permanent
Hmm.
method.
Okay, so in the case of males, the vas deferens are being tied up. So what is that process called as?
Um, vasectomy.
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 Hmm. And in the case of females,
In the case of females, tubectomy.
what structure? Huh. What structure is cut and tied up?
In case of female, the fallopian tube is cut and tied up in ends, and in case of males, the vas deferens is tied up in their
Oh,
ends.
very good. All right. Now tell me, what are the male and the female gametes of humans?
Huh? Okay, gametes. In case of male, it is the sperm, and in case of female, it is the ovule.
Okay. No. In case of female, it is
Ovum, ovary.
hmm, ova and or ovum. Ovule is in plants. We don't have it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, sorry.
Okay. Tell me the primary sex organ of male and female.
Primary sex organ of testis,
Hmm. Male or female?
and female, it is ovaries.
Very good. Okay, so do these primary sex organs only produce the gametes or something else also?
They produce hormones also.
Hmm. Which ones?
In case of female, estrogen and progesterone. In case of male, it is a testosterone.
Very good. Okay. What do you
Release,
mean? Hmm?
it is released in the time of puberty.
Very good. So, what do you mean by secondary sexual characteristics?
Secondary sexual characters means in case of male, they'll get mustache and then hairs in their genital areas, and their voice will get deeper. And in case of
Hmm.
female, uh, their size of breast get enlarges, the
Hmm.
darkening of nipple tips, and then even they get hairs in the genital areas.
Okay. All right. Now, tell me something about placenta.
Hmm? Yes, ma'am.
Placenta. What is a placenta?
Placenta. Um. Uh. The child gets embeds like it is fitted in the uterus. Um. From the placenta is like it acts as a disc between the uterine walls and the embryo.
Hmm. It is basically, it forms inside the womb, right? So during the
Yes.
pregnancy time, all the, you can say nutrients, they are sent to the fetus through this placenta only,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
What is gestation period?
The period of 9 months.
So in all organisms, it's 9 months.
No, in case of human beings.
So my question was, what is this thing, gestation period?
What is gestation period? It is the
Hmm.
period where the new organism is formed.
The time period for which the pregnancy would last. That is
Yes.
gestation period.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now tell me. Hmm. Okay, tell me the names of the reproductive parts of females, human females.
Reproductive parts of female and female. Ma'am, like the where the uterus is where the embryo is formed.
No, the reproductive parts, the normal reproductive parts, like the ovaries, fallopian tubes, all of that.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, it consists of I think 5 to 6 parts. Oviduct or the fallopian tube, ovary, uterus, cervix, I guess, and then
Mm-hmm.
vagina,
Mm-hmm.
ureter,
Ureter, that's not a
uterus,
reproductive part. Uterus.
uterus.
Hmm.
Okay, so the fallopian tube, ovary, uterus, vagina, cervix. These are the reproductive parts of female.
Okay. Tell me what is menstruation?
Menstruation, it is it occurs every month. So the egg cell is released, and if the sperm doesn't come for the fertilization, then then the thick lining that is formed in the uterus for the preparation of the embryo that breaks up, and then it comes out in the form of periods, that is the blood, and and the preparation that is done, the ovary, everything get released through the vagina,
Hmm.
and it happens every month. It happens like in cycle, and yes.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me, uh, when does the formation of sperm in humans start? When does it begin?
Formation of sperm
Hmm.
in the between 13 to 14 years.
Meaning at the time of puberty.
Yes, the
Okay. Now tell me, under the barrier method of contraception, give me one example.
condoms.
Okay, good. Okay. Now tell me, mm, okay, basically, I think all the possible questions I could have asked, I've asked. So, is there any other chapter that you have done?
Mm, I think I'm pretty good with life processes, but I
Okay,
haven't
sure.
revised since long time.
So you take 5 minutes, you revise it, okay?
Okay,
Then I'll
okay,
ask.
okay. Ma'am, when does the guard cells shrink?
The guard cells, they shrink when the water flows out of them, which makes them flaccid, as a result of which the stomatal pore closes.
Okay. Ma'am, you can ask till aerobic and anaerobic respiration.
Aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Okay.
Yes.
First of all, tell me what is life process?
The processes that are needed for maintaining life, like respiration, transportation, nutrition, is called life processes.
Correct.
These processes must go on even if we are not doing anything specifically. Yes, the duty, the organs that do this duty are called the life processes.
The organs are called life processes. No, see, the thing that you told me about life processes is absolutely correct. Okay. But organs, they are not called as the life processes, but it is through them only that the life processes are done in us. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now tell me, uh, what is holozoic mode of nutrition?
Holozoic mode of nutrition is done by animals, and it involves the whole alimentary canal from the mouth to the anus.
Okay, what are the procedures or processes that go by in it?
Okay. So the food is taken as a whole in the mouth, and then it reaches
Hmm.
it reaches
Hmm.
the stomach through the esophagus, the food pipe, and in the stomach has HCl, mucus, and pepsin present. The HCl makes the food acidic, and then the mucus that is present protects the walls of the stomach from this action of the HCl, and the pepsin it digests the proteins. I think it has the proteins. I'm not sure. Now, what is the action of pepsin?
See, when we talk about the holozoic mode of nutrition, talking about the steps that come into it, you're supposed to answer with the ingestion, digestion,
Mm,
absorption, assimilation, and then egestion.
okay, ma'am. So the five steps in holozoic mode of nutrition is uh, first comes the ingestion,
Hmm.
and then
Ingestion. What happens in ingestion?
okay, the food is taken as a whole,
Hmm.
and then ingestion, and then second one is uh, digestion.
Hmm. Digestion. What happens in digestion?
The food gets digested, and
Yeah.
then absorption.
Okay.
The food that is the nutritional food gets absorbed and it is sent to the body areas where it is needed, and then assimilation, it absorbs the minerals, the water that has to get absorbed, and then the last process is excretion that is done by the anus.
See, during assimilation, no absorption happens. Assimilation is basically distribution of whatever has been absorbed to different parts of the body.
Oh
Clear?
yeah, yes.
Okay. Tell me what is the site of complete digestion of food?
Small intestine.
Okay. Does any digestive activity takes place in the large intestine?
No, it just absorbs the minerals, the water, salt present.
Very good. Okay. Tell me, which is the largest gland of our body?
Liver,
Very good. What does liver secrete?
bile juice.
Bile juice. Does bile juice have any enzymatic activity?
The bile juice, ma'am, it breaks down the emulsified fats.
So does it have any enzymatic activity?
Enzymatic activity? No, I guess.
It doesn't. Okay. The process of digestion, where does it begin?
The process of digestion begins in the mouth itself. 33% of the carbohydrate is digested in the mouth itself.
Very good. And it happens by the action of which enzyme?
Um, Salivary amylase.
Very good. Okay. What is peristalsis?
Peristalsis. It is the movement through which the food is taken in the food pipe.
So what happens during it?
Contraction, relaxation.
Very good. Exactly. Okay. So let's just keep it till here only. You can learn life processes for the next class. Okay. And since the next class will probably happen after a week, isn't it? You have
Yes, I will.
classes with me every Saturday, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Only one day, right?
Even Thursday.
Okay. Then you prepare life processes for Thursday. If it is possible, prepare one more chapter. But if not, do life processes very nicely that no matter wherever I ask question from, you'll be able to answer it. Yeah.
Ma'am, what about reproduction? Like, is my
Yeah.
answer,
Huh?
is it fine? Like the answers that I give, or should I practice more in the
You should
reproduction?
practice more. See, you are getting stuck on the tiny things. The major ones, you know. Sometimes you're not able to get the question, like what the question says. But other than that, your basic concept is almost clear, but it needs brushing up. Okay. Like constant revision when you will do, then it will be very beneficial. And see, while now since you'll be preparing for life processes, first of all, read your book, read the notes that I have provided. And in case if you have any doubts, then you note them separately. You can ask me in the class. Okay. Then
Okay.
only